Okay. Hi.
Not my brightest moment.
Okay, you're catching us raw. Talia's been in the room for 90 seconds.
Don't come too close. I didn't have a chance to brush my teeth.
Okay, you were only 22 minutes late.
It's the lateness is. I apologize to everyone in the room for the lateness,
No,
but it's more that I woke up. Our recording appointment began at 12:30, and Jake was in here
12:25.
I woke up 12:24. You know what we can talk about since the strike is over?
What?
How much I fucking hated Barbie.
Oh.
Finally. We can finally discuss how bad Barbie was. What did you think of Barbie?
I really enjoyed the movie. Like, watching it, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I laughed. It made me feel good. I really enjoy Margot Robbie as an actor. Like,
Yeah.
I loved Tanya. I've pretty much enjoyed her in everything I've seen her in.
Yeah.
I'm also such a sucker for anything that is about the narrative about, like, pain and loss are the things that make human life and make, like,
Sure.
like that stuff always really gets me. So I left being like really happy with it. And then I heard there was a lot of critiques I heard about, like, it was mostly about men. Ken got all the funny, like, there was like stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I hear those critiques. Those didn't come up to me when I was watching it, but I hear those. And I've had a lot of conversations with people that I've thought is interesting.
Right.
What are your feelings?
My feelings are, it was a wildly successful movie that brought a lot of women together. And I think that's great. And I was rooting for it even after I decided I didn't like it. But I think men make bad movies all the time. And Barbie is a bad movie made by a woman. Therefore, I'm rooting for it.
Why do you think it was bad?
Are you kidding? It was bad in every single way. Okay, first of all, it felt like they didn't even have an understanding of how logistically Barbie Land versus reality was going to work before they started making the movie. I don't understand. I don't think they understood the logistics of the relationship between these two worlds, how you get there, do they know about each other, all that kind of stuff. I get that it's fantasy and there are some things that you have to, like, trust me, I've seen Harry Potter. Like, I can put away reality and I can accept things that don't make total sense for the purpose of it's magical, it's not real. I don't even feel that the movie makers knew how this was supposed to kind of
Talia,
work.
that's so interesting because that specifically is one of my favorite parts about the movie. I thought they landed so nicely in a space where it's like, it's just silly. Like, it's like you go down this pier and you kind of end up in Barbie Land. Like, I thought it was like, we didn't get caught up in the logistics of, like, what are the rules of this? It's like it allowed space to actually just play with the thing of her coming back and forth between these two worlds, and like that there was a precedent for it with the boardroom. I thought was funny. Like, I enjoyed that it wasn't a sci-fi movie in that way. Like, they just kind of let it have this nebulousness. I know that maybe it's a little hard to, like, maybe for some people that kind of affects the emotional stakes because it makes the reality feel thinner. That's not how I felt.
I get that there is. The thing about this movie is that you could find, like, an artistic comment that rebuttals every critique that I probably have.
That's just art in general.
That's art.
Yeah.
But, like, I believe that my critiques are extremely valid. Okay. I also... like, every time I hear somebody else's rebuttal for it, like yours, I'm like, okay, bullshit. Like, that was... How long did it take you to come up with that? To make an excuse for this very big problem in the movie.
But I don't think it was a problem.
I know that you don't, and I respect your artistic opinion because I think that you are, like, a legitimate, you really have deep thoughts about art, and I really like your perspective as a consumer of art. But, like, everyone on Twitter who's like, no, it's really just because, well, I'm like, okay, nice excuse. You don't have to fight this hard for Greta Gerwig, okay?
Greta Gerwig, I love you.
Like, I'm just, like, so annoyed at this movie, everything about it. I wish I had woken up earlier so I could have more thoughts on it.
I do feel like in general you are someone who, like, if everyone is, like, unanimously loving something, you're prone to be like, well...
No, I hate that. I resent that analysis of me. I am not a contrarian. That's the word you're looking for.
That was the word I was avoiding.
I am a huge fan of things. One of my favorite sayings is it's basic because it's good. I love things that are widely loved all the time. I'm not inclined to hate something because a lot of people like it.
Okay.
What's an example? I loved, I don't know, whatever. I like a lot of stuff that a lot of people like. I saw this movie and I legitimately, like, I almost walked out. I was so angry at it. And I've never had this type of reaction to a movie in years. Like, I was so, but here's what I didn't do. Here's how you know I didn't do this to be a contrarian. Because I did not share my opinion for a very long time.
Sure.
Because I wanted to let women enjoy the movie. And not that my opinion would sway ticket sales at all.
No,
but
sure.
I wanted to see this movie hit $1 billion and not get a ton of flack because of what I previously stated, which is that men make shitty movies that make no fucking sense all the time, and they still make $1 billion. I hope that Greta Gerwig gets her praise. Clearly, it was a huge feat to make this movie. It's extremely impressive to have this movie hit the numbers it did in the box office, so I'm so proud of it. But fuck this movie. I literally, if I ever hear about it again, I'm going to bang my head against a wall. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But it already hit $1 billion, so you can't get mad at me.
I really liked it.
Good.
You didn't think it was funny? Like, I don't know, like that, like when there's the whole scene where she runs into like the ghost of the woman who created Barbie. And then
what the fuck was that about?
No, and then when he goes, oh, like she lives on the 8th floor or whatever, like that was funny.
No, it wasn't. First of all, Will Ferrell, never funny. That's we have to start there if we're gonna get this opinion out there. Okay, sorry.
It should be noted that when Talia and I negotiated the deal of making this entire podcast, I said I didn't want to shit talk celebrities because I may want to work with them one day. Like I would love to be in a Will Ferrell movie. I explicitly said that, and Talia comes in. It's like I want to take a shit dump on Greta Gerwig and everyone in this movie.
I'm sorry. Wait till you find out how I feel about Martin Short.
Stop!
I truly...
I'm never going to have a career.
Let's make it very clear. Me not liking these people's art is not me saying that these people are bad people or Jake saying anything about these people. This is Talia having an opinion about their art. I'm allowed to fucking hate. What's that guy from Parks and Recreation?
Chris Pratt?
No.
Rob Lowe?
I hate him though. No, Rob Lowe's great.
Aziz Ansari?
Oh, he's so annoying, but no. Let's just decimate everybody.
This is
What's the one with the weird face?
Nick Offerman?
No.
I've named every male. Ben Schwartz?
No, he's so funny. Come on, you know I love Ben Schwartz. Who am I thinking of? The one who's married to Amy Poehler's character.
Oh, Adam Scott?
Adam Scott. Oh my God.
We're cutting this segment. These are all people I look up to and enjoy their work.
So we can all have opposite opinions. It makes you look so much better in their eyes that you're defending them against me. It's not, look, if somebody called me up, not that they're ever gonna now, and say, you know, we want to put you in Adam Scott. I don't think Adam Scott would be offended that I don't like him. I don't think he would.
I think a lot of people have more sensitive egos than you think.
What? You know what? Then that's their fucking problem. That whole Martin Short thing going viral, everyone was like, how dare you talk about Martin Short? I'm thinking if Martin Short gets his feelings hurt by this after a career in comedy spanning decades.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure he's fine.
He's the problem. What a fucking loser. Okay, but
he didn't. I think he's fine. Did he engage with him?
Yeah, but people are saying, oh, Martin Short, protect Martin Short. Martin Short can read a negative opinion. He's Martin Short. Whatever. But my point is, okay, Will Ferrell's part in that movie. Here's what I think about Barbie. I think they put in a lot of famous people in that movie for the purpose of the huge, gigantic, extremely successful, beautifully done PR campaign behind it. But to have all those celebrities in there was not necessary and was just for the PR aspect. What was the role of Will Ferrell being with the Mattel people? It just, first of all, a movie made by Mattel critiquing Mattel and capitalism rung very hollow for me. I understand that was like the whole point and that's the whole joke, but I just can't accept it. The whole, Margot Robbie is not the person you want to cast to make this point. Like, that's not, is this really going to be the funniest line in this fucking movie? Like, I just like, everything about, I wish I woke up earlier so I could have made notes.
But what movie did you want this to be?
A better one.
No, but like, what more specifically? Like, what did you, because I guess I went in, like, my big thing was like I hear what you're saying about like Mattel and like the movie like criticizing capitalism and Mattel like is a little hollow, but I think it like I was expecting it to be much worse because I was like, wow, Mattel's like grip on their IP is so strong that I was like, I didn't think the movie was going to give anything, and it like did a bit.
I don't think the best thing I should feel when walking out of the theater is, wow, I thought it was going to be so much worse. Like,
that's not what I'm saying.
No, I know, but like in this aspect, like I did feel that way too. I thought it was going to be worse in terms of the Mattel thing. And I don't think that's a good feeling to have. I don't understand the point. I felt that there were so many plot lines and characters who were unnecessary and never proved necessary. Their plot lines were never closed fully. Why? What is the reasoning for having the crazy Barbie be the one who knows the answers to what Barbie must do? Why was Barbie questioning death before she fell off of her house? There were certain things that like made no sense and were never accounted for. And the whole twist being that America Ferrera was the one playing with the Barbies was not a twist. It was completely predictable. And what the fuck was the point of having them in that movie? America and her daughter. What's her name? Gloria and the daughter. I felt that their storyline served very little purpose. I get that it was supposed to be the central theme, but it made no sense except to stick this random feminist monologue in the middle. It's like, I felt that a good movie shows rather than tells, and this movie didn't show anything except it like had all the points it was trying to make crammed into one monologue and stuck in the middle of the movie with nowhere to go. And none of the characters really reached a point where I'm like, oh, that's why they're there. It all felt like, oh, they're there for the PR aspect of having this person in the movie. They want to make sure that this person's face is in the movie. And I felt that the whole montage at the end, close your eyes, now feel. What the fuck does that mean? What does it mean? You can't just string a bunch of words together.
I thought that part was really nice.
Why? You can't just have a bunch of people together who are women and be like, it's a feminist movie.
But I don't think that part was feminist. I think that part was about, like, I thought part of it was about, that was the part where she was, there's the intangible nature of like, what does it mean to be human? Like that was like what that part was contending with. Like the same part when she was looking up at the trees.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Every single thing, it felt so fragmented, this movie. Nothing connected with the thing before. Like it just felt like, oh, now we're going to talk about what it means to be human and have this montage here where she's looking at the trees. Now we're going to talk about mother-daughter relationships. We're never going to close anything out. Nothing is going to connect. Nobody's storyline is going to come to a full close.
I really feel like we watch different movies.
I know. Maybe I need to watch it again and write down.
Because I feel like you're kind of like coming at it from two angles. That like you're saying it should show not tell, but then the parts where it did show and didn't tell, you're saying didn't make sense.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I think it didn't do a good job of showing rather than telling, and I think it stuck that monologue in there just to make sure that it got all the points
I think
across.
The monologue definitely felt very like, okay, this is the thing, like that part for sure. But
it was like you just want to make sure that all these things get in the movie without actually having to write them in a smart way.
I thought the part where she was looking up at the trees, the part with Rhea Perlman at the end, like I thought that was Rhea Perlman, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I thought those parts were very nice and made me cry.
I think they were nice. They were pleasant, but like what were they doing there? And her final, spoiler alert, the final like big I'm a woman moment was she's going to go to the gynecologist. I think I might have thrown my drink at the screen. Like I actually was so angry. Okay, we need to move on though. How was your week?
We don't have time to talk about my week now because we have to go to calls.
Calls. Ooh, I like the title of this one already. This is like, sounds like it's going to be juicy.
Hi. So I have this problem with meeting married men on the DL, and
Ooh.
I'm not going to stop because it's fun. But anyway.
Wait, pause. Icon. I'm not going to stop because it's fun. However, moving forward. Okay, wait. Sorry, we have to play. That really made me laugh.
That's so funny.
One of them, I stopped meeting for a while, but he wanted to start meeting up again, and I was like, cool, that's fine. But he has now convinced his husband to start meeting guys with him. But the thing is, he wants me to meet him and his husband together, but pretend like I've never met him before. And I just feel like that's too far. Any thoughts would be helpful. Thanks.
Okay, my advice.
Go for it.
If he wants you to do all that, you should quote him a rate. I'm sorry, that's like sex work at that point. Like pretend, like you want him to like perform. He wants you to like perform a full scenario that's not true. Like,
it reminds me. Sorry, I'm in Gilmore Girls' head because I was watching it last night. It reminds me of when that kid Marty, like introduces himself to Rory as a different person, like or is like, don't tell her that you know me. It's like a very unfair thing to do to somebody. to make them pretend that you don't know.
I don't know that Gilmore Girls reference, but yeah, no, I think it's like,
Yeah, the listeners will. Anyway, I'm tired. Go ahead. That's all I had to offer.
no, I think it's like if you don't want to do it, don't. Like, I think you tell him, like, well, one, you quote him a rate. Two, if you're not interested in that what is like the opposite of allegedly, where it's like I'm technically telling someone to do something illegal, so I'm like, don't actually hold me liable for that. Whatever that is.
Yeah,
but
you are not liable. We are not liable for this.
No, but like, I think you tell him, because it's like, all this guy is doing is basically passing the buck onto you for him to deal with this uncomfortable situation, which is that, like, either he thinks it'll be weird if it comes up that you guys hooked up before, or he wasn't supposed to be hooking up before, and so he's hiding that from his husband. And it's like, either way, like, you're the one married to the guy. It's your job to deal with the uncomfortability of it. It's not mine. So you say, like, look, like, it's either $2.50 an hour or it's like you have to tell your husband, or like, we just don't bring it up. I don't know. I don't think you should fully do something you're really uncomfortable with, like, for the sake of this other person's comfort. Right?
Agree. I have nothing else to add.
I love you, though.
Beautiful advice.
I keep on hooking up with married men who are on the DL.
I'm not
is
gonna
he
stop.
on the DL if he's married to another man? That's not DL. Right? I guess if you're cheating on him, it's still DL.
Yeah, I think he meant I'm hooking up with them on the DL. Like, we're not talking about it.
Hi, I'm a senior in high school, and I just turned 17. And I know that this might be, like, kind of difficult to answer because I'm assuming neither of you have been in a same-sex relationship with a girl, but
Fair.
This can kind of apply to any sex relationship. But so I don't know if I dated this girl, but she and I were, like, really close friends, and we would make out a lot.
Oh, God.
And she was my first kiss, my first everything. And it's been about a year now, and I am pretty sure I was in love with her, which I know is kind of a bold statement because I'm only 17, but I really did love her. And so she's been texting me kind of like we're friends, and I haven't really been responding, but she's been sending me, you know, screenshots of her listening to songs that we used to say were ours, like,
you dated
and
this
stuff
girl.
like that. So I just don't know if I should try to be her friend. I forgot to mention, she did me really, really, really wrong. Like, she talked shit about me and my family. She told everyone about my mental health issues. She's a horrible person, but I don't know if I've moved on enough to kind of just get over it. But she did give me a kind of good apology. So I just want to know what I should do. Okay, thank you. I love you guys, by the way. I love you guys so much.
Wait, I've never experienced such a, like, as I'm writing the advice in my head as the call's going, such a hard pivot.
Pivot.
Oh, by the way, she sucks and is bad. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Seriously. And that's so sweet that you fell in love. That's
Because my
beautiful.
original advice was going to be, like, you got to tell her how you feel.
Now, what is it?
It's like, cut the cord.
Cut the cord, girl.
If she, like, did something that hurtful to you,
Absolutely
and you're describing
not.
the apology as, like, kind of good, it's like, because this is the other thing that happens in high school, I think, depending on where you grew up and if you're queer, is, like, there's an innate scarcity mindset.
Okay.
That, like, because it's like, there's the people in your high school that you could date, like, and then, like, when you're queer, that's so much smaller usually.
Yeah.
That it's like, you're like, the thoughts of, like, well, how much can I forgive or, like, get over are so much smaller, where it's like, girl, like, this is so bottom of the barrel.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, in the scope of, like, women that are going to be available to you throughout your life.
Right.
That's like this person who, like, first off, the fact that the entire time you're like, we kind of date. It's like, you said you had songs, made out, did everything together. You dated.
You dated.
You
and
dated,
that
and
makes her betrayal so much more, like, pointed and
shit
mean.
talk to your family and your mental health is, like, sort of really high hitting.
Really
like,
bad.
Like, not high, like, high score in, like, the bad department. Do you
And
know
also
what I
the
mean?
type of person who, like, uses your misery and your your stories or whatever, your gossip as fodder for other people's conversations is a person who probably won't, despite the apology. It's a pattern that's going to continue. It's like she lacks substance. She's using you. It's mean.
It's also such a
It's lack of
recurring theme in
empathy.
all of these calls is like the fucking people who, it's like people who are able to show up emotionally when the relationship isn't actually happening.
Right.
But then like can't when the relationship is happening. It's like, that's going to be a continued behavior.
Exactly.
That's not like a coincidence. Like, oh, they didn't think to show me when. It's like, no, they can't show up in a relationship. Like, that's quite simply what it is.
I think there's only one thing to do, and you probably know the answer kind of secretly.
I think it's hard. So that's another thing that sucks about high school is like cutting someone off. You can't, you're in.
Yeah, you're in it.
You're in it.
You're gonna see her every day. I think definitely be cordial. We're not saying go back and like be mad about what she did, but I don't think you should forgive so easily. Beautiful quality that you have, your forgiveness, but put it away. You should forgive on the surface, but don't forget is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think you should not try and date this girl. There are other fish in the sea, and it doesn't feel like
there are many other fish in the sea.
There's like, at least there's like one better fish in the sea than this. Like this is, as you said, it's bottom of the barrel. It's not worth it. I think you should try to sort of disconnect. Don't be mean. Don't be harsh because it's high school and you have to see them every day. But try to disconnect is my only
100%.
advice.
Next call.
Love that the high schoolers call us. It means we're cool.
It makes me feel so cool. And that's so lame because like I'm 30.
No,
but I'm like,
they
high
are
schoolers like us.
They are the decider of what's cool, and they've decided.
Hi guys, I love you guys. I just left a message, but it was too long, so I'm going to try to keep it short this time.
We love an
My
edit.
kind of girl.
Here's my situation. Basically, there's a guy that I have seen on and off since 2019. We met in grad school, and then we both dropped out, and we now live in different states. We've lived in different states since 2019.
Okay.
And he's visited my area, and we've gone camping, and on a few different occasions, we've kind of kept in touch on and off, no pressure. He makes me feel very comfortable. He's a nice guy. Not like the shitty nice guy, but like, I feel comfortable with him. I care about him. He's a good person. Basically, it's been over a year since I've seen him, and since then, I have gone off of Adderall, and I've gained 50 pounds. And
50?
I don't know if I need to tell him. I don't know if I even feel like, I don't know what to do. It's going to be like, I don't know if it's going to be a shock to see him. I post pictures of myself on my story that he sees, but not really of like my whole body. So maybe I'm not confident in myself yet with this extra weight. I still want to lose weight. He's also always been a bigger guy. He has a belly and stretch marks. So like part of me thinks he wouldn't care. Maybe that's not the right way to put it. I don't know. What should I do? Should I see him? Should I check it out? Should I warn him I'm fat now? I don't know. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.
I didn't know you gained weight when you went off Adderall.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know really much about
medication.
Adderall because I took it once in college and have never felt sicker in my literal life.
The skinniest I ever got was when I started Adderall. And then I had a really hard time keeping the weight off when I went off Adderall.
Whoa.
And now, I mean, medications will do that. I'm on Lexapro. I just started 2 weeks ago. Everybody clap.
Congrats.
And hence the sweatpants. I feel that I've gained like 30 pounds all of a sudden. I feel
You haven't.
Thanks God. Are you calling me skinny? But no, medications, whatever. I relate hardcore. And like one of the big like things of my life is figuring out, do I want to dress flattering or am I trying to, like for this date, am I trying to dress flattering and fashionable, or is the biggest part of my clothing choices and my struggles with clothing about covering my weight? I think that is what it really is for me. Like hiding what I actually look like without hiding it and putting on something fashionable. I think only girls who've had their weight go up and down will understand when dressing is not so much about looking fashionable. The most confident you can possibly feel when it comes to clothes is the clothes that make you feel the skinniest and look like
totally.
the skinniest without looking like this, like you're hiding, like in a sweatpants.
No, totally.
But Okay, here's what I think you should do. I think it's going to be so in your head when you're hanging out with him. Is he surprised? Is he not? Oh my God, did I catch him off guard? I wish I could say you should care less about his feelings, but we both know.
Not an option.
It's human nature. You're going to care about what he's thinking, and it's going to take up a lot of your brain space and make the date and whatever you guys do a lot less fun, and you don't want that.
Right.
So what I think you should do is something I've actually done on more than one occasion. I have a lot of experience with this. You bring it up when you're talking to him on FaceTime or something or texting casually, but not as like a warning. You don't owe anybody a warning, and it sounds really silly if you say, I'm just going to warn you. But I think you should say, ugh, I feel so sluggish lately. I just went off my meds and I've definitely gained weight. Just so that he knows. And then honestly, I want to be very clear. I'm not advising you that he needs a warning. I'm saying I think it'll help if you give him a warning so that you can stop thinking about, is he surprised or not? You need to get this off your chest. Yeah. So just be like, ugh, like I feel so sluggish. Like how I just said, I just started or went off a medication. I feel so gross. Like I definitely gained weight. And he's going to be like, oh no, I'm sure you look great. But now he knows. Now he knows the reason. So then you can stop thinking about it and stop letting it take so much of your brain space. What do you think?
My advice is similar but different. I do think the framing it as like this thing that you're insecure about, that you're nervous about, that you are thinking might be a reason he's not into you. If you present it to someone in that way, it will be received that way.
Yeah.
And like, that's just always the truth, is when someone presents something as like, I'm really sorry that this is this way. It's like, you naturally receive it as a problem because it's being presented as a problem.
Right.
Whereas when it's just presented as reality, people are less likely to like judge it. But I think as the person, you're so afraid of being judged that you're like, let me preemptively judge it for you so that I don't look like I don't know it's bad.
Yes.
But it's like, in reality, just look the way you look, and someone's gonna like it and someone's not gonna like it. And like, you don't look more stupid for liking how you look and someone else not liking it than if you're like, I also don't like it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So in my mind, it's like, don't even like, I would say like, don't even present it as like, oh, I feel so gross lately. Like in my mind, you mentioned not posting photos, like full body photos on your stories. Start.
That's smart.
Like, start posting full body photos, because if that's what you look like, and I feel like she said she doesn't want to lose weight. Like she's feeling
confident.
Yeah. Like, and even if you do want to lose a little bit of weight, like your body's not like something to be horrifically ashamed of. Like we all have,
not.
And I'm not doing the whole body positivity, like love your body, body's perfect. But it's like the shame and like the hiding and the photos on Facebook or on Instagram that are from here up, like that's creating your own prison. Like just post a few, go out over the next couple weeks before you see him, because he lives in another state.
Right.
Get some full body shots up there so you know he's seen them, and then it's not a thing.
Right.
You know?
Jake says the healthy advice. Mine is the easier advice.
Is it though? I mean, I guess it does take a certain level of confidence to post the photo online.
Yeah, it's to overcome the barrier that you have within yourself to stop setting the barriers and post the full body photo. It's very hard and might take a lot longer than the span of time in which she's going to see this guy. So I'm saying if she wants like the easy way to kind of get this thing out of your head, just be like, oh yeah, I feel like I've gained weight. Just like let him know in a casual way. You don't have to frame it though. I think I will retract what I said about feeling schlubby and gross. You don't have to frame it as that. You don't have to say, oh, I feel gross. You can just somehow say like, oh, I went on my vacation.
Like you could be like,
I think I like look a little different. But
or like, oh, I have to go shopping this week because I gained some weight and my old fall clothes don't fit. Like I hear what you're saying. I guess I'm just like, if you want to do something that's gonna deal with this situation and maybe also help you feel better overall, yeah, maybe start just like not hiding your body as much.
I know, but it's just so much easier said than done.
Oh,
which is why we'll give the alternative advice.
Trust me. I mean,
yeah, you know too.
I get it, deeply get it.
Yeah, but his is definitely the better advice.
In a sequel to parentheses Bear, do you want to hear my new favorite message I got this week on Grindr?
Please hit me. Tell me.
You're gonna love this one. Hey, you're really good on Talia's podcast.
That's so funny. Oh my God. And the worst part is, guys, like, Jake always shows up here 5 minutes early. Jake is so invested, and obviously I'm invested, but I do not show it the way that Jake does. And yet, it's my podcast.
It's your podcast. It's also like on every clip on TikTok, because you have a blue check mark and I don't, you'll comment and everyone will be like, oh, that's the girl in the video. And they'll like 100 times and then I'll say something and it's like 2 likes.
Why don't you have a blue check mark?
Because I'm not famous.
No, we're going to get you one.
What do you just call Mr.
I'm not
TikTok?
famous either. Yeah, you call Mr. TikTok.
All right, call Mr. TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok, give me a blue check.
Don't worry, I'll get my people on it.
So I can promote.
They listen. The boys listen. They'll get on it.
Okay, perfect.
No, you need a blue check.
All right. I don't really know what it does, but
it doesn't do anything.
I guess people respect you a little bit more.
I was expecting like a cool new perk, like whenever
absolutely not.
I got it on Instagram or whatever it was, and it went away. But so what did you respond?
I didn't. I said I'm going to talk about this on the podcast.
That's
and
so
clearly they
funny.
listen to Talia's podcast, so they'll hear it.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, everybody who listened to my podcast this week.
I've also received like dozens of messages that just say parentheses bear. Like I've received like dozens of DMs and messages.
It's the funniest thing.
Oh, it's
ever.
so funny. I love it. I absolutely.
Did you ever respond to the original parentheses bear?
I don't remember if I did.
Jake, it's so funny.
I love it. I think it's very funny.
You're so hot. And I loved how all the comments were like, something, a compliment, parentheses bear.
Bear, parentheses bear. This podcast is so funny, parentheses bear.
It really is. Thank you so much for coming to Talia's podcast, parentheses bear. We love you all so much.
I'm sorry, I got mad at you earlier for shit talking Barbie. I just don't want my hopes and dreams to be dashed because someone sees a video of me.
Okay, we can cut it.
We don't have, no, because then there's like
I
10
really
minutes.
do like think, honestly, I think that it's my opinion and not yours, and you do a very good job of distinguishing when you're not agreeing with me. We're all allowed to say like an opinion. It
is better for the podcast and it is better for you as a like I have lived so much of my life afraid of offending people and afraid of closing a door or afraid of burning a bridge that would later lead to something that I have like I think sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm making myself boring because I'm so unwilling to be controversial. Do you know what I mean?
Trust me, I've hit that point in the career too with TikTok and Twitter, and I'm very scared, and it's making me very limited, and it's really hard.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. And so it's like, I think it's probably a good thing that you push the boundaries the other way. You know what I mean?
But I do think that there's a distinction that you have to remember between sharing an opinion on somebody's art versus sharing something that could actually very well ruin your chances and an opportunity. If somebody were thinking of you for a role.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell were involved in the project.
And someone shows them a video where...
And the reason you didn't get it was because your co-host said, I don't like a lot of Will Ferrell's comedy.
Sure.
First of all, it wouldn't happen. It's ridiculous. But I also think that in itself is like insane.
I know. I was just raised to be so afraid of consequences.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about this in a psychic reading I had a few months ago. Yeah, it was a big thing. Did I tell you that I had a psychic reading where 5 minutes in?
I really want to have one.
I had a psychic reading in which 5 minutes in I was laying on my living room floor sobbing.
No.
Sobbing.
In New York?
Yeah.
Can I get the number?
Absolutely.
Oh my
God. Well, she's in
God.
LA. You do it over the phone.
Okay.
But literally, like, and it's so funny because they send you the audio recording after. She sends you the audio recording after.
Could you hear yourself
and so,
crying?
literally, she says one thing, and you just hear, and I know at that moment I just like laid down and just was like crying for the next hour.
What was this big revelation?
It was like a larger thing. Like it was like it was, but like it was like she was able to say something about the way I lead my personal life, my creative life, my acting, my writing, my comedy, and my personal life. She like hit the thing that connects all of them in a way that like was like, it wasn't even crying like I'm sad. It was like, that is so deeply correct.
Whoa.
And I like, it was like, I was like sick from it.
You felt so seen.
It was like so seen. And then also realizing that now that has been seen, I can like work on it and move past it.
Oh, good for you. Okay.
I mean, I don't know that I have
off
yet,
mic.
but it was like, I mean, I guess I can talk. I'm like, how much time do I have left? It was like,
we're fine.
It was like about fear of, like, it was like what we're talking about. It was like about fear of punishment and fear of consequence. And it's like when you're in a relationship, you're afraid it's not good. Like you're afraid, like in dating, in creative work, you are so afraid of it leading to a bad consequence, of you getting punished for it, that you are not actually, you can't operate from a place of actually doing it because you're just you're thinking ahead.
Right.
So it's like in acting, you're so afraid of it being bad, you can't be good. In a relationship, you're so afraid of it not being the right thing that you can't be present to see if it is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And like it was like, because did I tell you about this summer? Like, because like this summer with the strikes and stuff, but also I was fortunate enough to have booked a bunch of work. Like, it wasn't like I was rich, but like I was able to navigate not having to work a ton because like I could pick up a bartending shift here or there, or like we're doing the podcast, or I have like this brand deal. But like I got to have like a very luxurious summer where like most of my days I could like go to the gym and go out. And like for the first few months of it, I felt this huge weight above me that I was going to get punished for it. I was like, you're having an amazing life, an amazing time right now. You live in New York City and get to like explore and do fun things every day. You love where you live. I was like positive that there was like the
other shoe was going to
drop, the boomerang was going to come back, and I was about to get fucked over. And that's when I had this psychic reading where she was like, why do you think that? Like you were so afraid that like you were going to that there's a punishment coming for joy. And I was like, oh God. And like realizing I thought that way my entire life, you know?
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, that is so sweet. You are like, not sweet, but like it's so good that you had that and you were able to identify the feeling.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, but it's true, you know? Like, it's nice to like try to move more and more towards a place of like, because it's also that thing of like being trained to be really humble and like not expect much. Is like when you get a lot, you're like, well, it's that thing of like, I think a lot of people, it's why people love the narrative of like when you win the lottery, it ruins your life. Because it's like, well, something good happens, so then obviously everything after that has to be bad because like karmic justice. And it's like, I don't think that's how karma works.
No, it's not.
Do you know what I mean?
But do you believe in karma?
Like, yes and no. Like, I think like yes and no in the sense that like I don't think it truly works in the sense like, because if like karma in the way I think it often gets talked about like was true, then like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk would both be struck by lightning 4 times a day and have like syphilis. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel, yeah.
But like when I see those two men, do I clearly without a doubt see that there is like an emptiness within them that is consuming them whole that they are running from? Yes. And like, could one argue that that is karmic justice for the other? Like, maybe. Does it like make it fair, the damage they inflict on the world? Like, no. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But I could hear like that argument. And I also do think that like the world is bigger than the universe and existence is bigger than just like this thing we're doing right now. And so maybe karma does fully makes more sense when you are able to zoom out to like whatever is beyond or whatever. But I do think you see things like come back. You know what I mean? I think that like a lot of the things I have gotten in my life have come from doing good things or being good to people earlier on or whatever. And I think I know a lot of people who like maybe got ahead of me earlier but were shitty who now are stuck because like their actions are catching up to them.
Right.
So I do think it exists in some regards, but I don't think it's as like neat and perfect as it gets talked about.
That was so beautifully said. You painted like such a picture for me.
Are you just gassing me up because I was mad at you earlier?
No. Like, I just thought that was like beautifully said. Nothing to add.
Yeah.
I still don't believe in karma or God anymore, but I do believe.
Okay, do you believe in like flat nothing, like die cut to black, it's over?
No, not at all, actually. I really do believe in the presence of, I don't necessarily believe in an afterlife, like on the Good Place type thing, but I do believe that your loved ones or whoever dies doesn't actually go away. I really do think that there's like a veil between the living and the dead that it's very comforting for me to think that like whoever died did not completely cease to exist. Like they are present. But do I believe that there is a reason for, I shouldn't say I don't believe in God. I really hate the saying there's a reason for everything. I understand how that can be comforting. And I do like to think that like what's meant for me will find me. But I don't think there's a reason for everything. And I really don't like the saying like, you know, that like God has a plan. Because like then why do so many things happen? Like I still have not received a sufficient explanation.
I know. I feel like for me what it is it's not that like God has a plan or there's like a specific reason for everything to happen. I think what it is, like the way I think about it is it's like the world is so vast and complex and interconnected that when you zoom out a little bit far enough, everything that happens, everything good and everything terrible, leads to good and terrible things. Like, you know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that a terrible thing that happened is actually good in the long run, but like, you know what I mean? Like, there are things that happen, like, when you look back on like the scope of your life, it's like there are things that happened that were wonderful moments in your life that would not have happened if something terrible, maybe something that wasn't even related to you, like 9/11, like, you know, something that was like if that hadn't happened, then like you wouldn't have that. Like, it's like, and it's like, I think it's narcissistic and too simplistic to be like, God did 9/11.
God did 9/11.
God did 9/11 so I could meet my boyfriend 5 years later. Or like something psycho like that. Do you know what I mean? I think some people think about it like that, and it's like, that's fucking crazy.
Right.
But it is like, I think there is something comforting in knowing that like life is complicated in a way where it's like, when you look back, it's not going to have played out in a way you could have ever predicted, and it'll be a result of all the good and the bad things.
Absolutely.
And I think that is beautiful. You know? And
there it is.
I think
that is beautiful.
Am I like really making your new Lexapro like work right now?
No, this is a type of conversation. It's very hard for me to have. Being the type of person I am, it's not my favorite thing about myself. Where I'm just so like cut and dry, and I'm so like, we're here because we're here. Like that's always how I felt. And I know that when you have conversations like this about being like existing, and your explanations, as I said, like you word this beautifully, and you really do give this thought, and you do make me think in a different way. So I'm grateful for you and your perspective. But I've always said I don't like participating in conversations about existentialism or the purpose of our lives or why we're here, because I find that a lot of the time it's like it's a dumb man's way of seeming smart to talk about like, why do you think we're on Earth? Like it's such a cop out for like real conversation is to talk about like, why do we exist? But that's what I'm saying is like, I don't feel that you are.
No,
that
I
way.
hear what you're saying though.
But I also just don't care. Like I really like when it's something that I wish I did, but I've never thought about like, why do things happen? Is karma real? What is the reason for this bad thing happening? And is God there? I don't entertain the idea a lot, probably because I just like, I'm sure there's some deeper thing that some psychic is going to tell me one day that's going to make me fall to my knees. That's going to like explain why I don't care. But at the end of the day, I just think that I'm satisfied with like just being alive and just being here against all odds. And I don't concern myself enough.
I mean, I feel similarly with like specifically the afterlife, where it's like I remember like, because I grew up, like religion was very polarizing in my hometown. There was like have we talked about this before?
Yeah.
Like the crazy religious sect in my hometown, and like the tension
no, we have
between
talked about that.
Yeah. So like there was like in my neighborhood growing up, in my town, there was like this really intense born again Christian sect. Okay. And one of the families like lived on my street, and there was like a lot of tension between the fact that like my family was like Catholic loosely, and they were like very Christian, like we were allowed to read Harry Potter, and that was an issue, and like we were going to go to hell, and they would try to save us all the time, and my mom would be like, your kids need to stop fucking trying to save my kids, like I don't like this. And they went to this private school that was like funded by this community, that they all went to this private school in town. And then when I was in high school, it ran out of money, and so like my sophomore year maybe, all of these like hyper conservative Christian kids who had been in hyper-conservative Christian school their entire lives all came to my high school.
This is a movie.
It was really crazy. And it was weird because they were their own clique, but like I was like friends with a group of them because they were my neighbors. Like we would play together, and like religion stuff would come up, but we'd still play together because like we were just it was a dead end road in the woods. Like that's who there was to play with. So it was like, oh, we had been friends when we were little kids. Now we're in high school where like religion kind of is now a bigger deal. The fact that we have these like very different belief systems. Right. And then someone I knew died. One of them died in a car accident. And like the day after she died, I remember like pulling into school, and all of the parents of these hyper Christian kids and their kids were stood in a circle around the flagpole of our public high school praying to Christ, and then passing out brochures being like, do you want to see her again? Join our church. And I like experienced a mental break where I was like, this is so not okay to me. Right. And after that, I realized like, oh, I was like seeing the fear of the afterlife being weaponized in a way where I was like, I can't live caring about what happens after. Like I deeply, deeply care about being a good person and doing the right thing. And like, when I leave this earth, I hope my legacy is that I like made positive change and like that there is like goodness in my wake. But like, I can't care about like fearing this one idea that I might end up punished, you know? And I think I learned it about the afterlife, and now I'm trying to apply. I think that same fear of hell that like was put on me as a Catholic and then with these kids when I was a kid is also how I fear I think it's still a fear of hell, is like the punishment of all those other things, you know? Isn't that crazy?
I've been holding this tickle in my It's like the worst time to have to cough. I'm like, you need to write this. Have you thought about writing through it?
Yeah, probably. I probably should.
I think you need to sit down and write a book.
Like a self-help book?
No. I
like
think
a
you need
novel?
to write. Yeah.
That could be good.
I'm disgusted by the brochure imagery.
I will never forget the brochure.
But it's so interesting how that set you on this different sort of
I know. I think about it a lot. Okay. So I'm writing a book.
Maybe
Everyone
that
get
was
excited.
the purpose of her in your life.
That's not, we just said that's not how that works.
See?
Yeah.
That's how I think that's the type of thinking that bothers me, and that's why I don't even concern
It's so
myself.
two-dimensional, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to call in to give your advice about the afterlife, or wait, can you use your finger to unlock it so I can read the number?
Yes.
If you want to call in and give your advice about the afterlife or anything like that, guys, the calls have been so good. We love them so much. If you, rate and review. You guys have been rating and reviewing. I want to get to 1,000 on both platforms. We're also a lot more people are reviewing on Spotify than Apple Music. I don't know if that's like something about how Apple Podcasts is doing, but let's go and rate on both. 5 stars. I love reading your reviews. They do make me happy. And then call in with your calls at, oh my God, wait, she didn't put the phone number in this document. I'm going to kill myself. Oh wait, yes she did. She just highlighted it for me. 929269496. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my wrist so I can just look down and read it every episode.
Yeah,
That's what
we'll
I'm
just
gonna
write
do.
it down.
Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for coming to Talia's podcast.
I never once said welcome to Basic Tracing.
I noticed that. It's because we were thrown off this morning.
And it's because you said it last time. And now I'm completely fucked up.
Okay, say it one more time just so we have it in the episode.
We're gonna cut this in for later. Welcome to Basic Training, a podcast for need. Welcome to Basic Try. Oh no! Welcome to Basic Training, a podcast for people that need help. And this has been Basic Training, a podcast for people that need help, including me.
Thank you for coming to Talia's podcast.
Bye.